Good thing I don't look fat right now. I don't have fat cheeks no more.
All right, Ronatringside boxing briefs. I happened to be at the airport and I stopped by the Knockout Boxing Gym. I called Andy and he was kind enough to stay open and take this interview, but I've been wanting to do this for a while because keep missing Sulem. Anyways, female, man, one of my favorites, I gotta say. Former Mexican Olympian, whatever, but now a pro boxer. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be here, and I was on the national team for many years, and now I'm a pro fighter, and I'm giving it all I have, and I'm enjoying my life.
Now, you recently turned pro. How many fights do you have now?
I'm currently 2-0.
Currently 2-0. Nice. Now, both the fights have been down in Mexico?
Yes, I signed with Sanford Promotions, which is one of the best promoters in Southern America, and most of my fights are in Mexico because that's where I have my following. I was on the Mexican national team, and I'm proud to represent my country, which is Mexico.
Excellent, because you actually got to meet the president of Mexico, right, and all that, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks to being on the national team, I got to travel all around the world representing Mexico. I met the president, many important people, and it's something that boxing has done for me, because if not, I don't even know if I'd be out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow. Now, do you anticipate any fights coming up in the States, or are they going to be mostly, you think, down in Mexico for a while, or what's the deal?
Well, my promotional group has cards here and in Mexico, and then in my contract it says that I will be fighting here in Arizona also, because to do a good homecoming show. We're just waiting, building up on it, and hopefully next year I'll be fighting sometime in California, then back here home in Arizona, and just doing it all over.
Excellent. Now, it's hard for women, female fighters, to find like decent sparring and all that. And you're back here, and of course your husband is also your coach, and you can definitely tell the difference when he's not around. I can tell you that right now. Even sparring, I remember watching you spar, and you were kind of like, that's when you were mostly down in Mexico, and you can kind of see the difference from when Andy takes over as opposed to when they're training down there. He seems to bring something out in you that, even though you're married and all that, it's business in the gym, but he has some kind of knack. But I've seen him do it with all the fighters. He can do something that brings out a fighter and makes him dig deep. What is it you think that does that?
Well, before he was my husband, he was my coach, and I've always known how strict he is. He goes really hard on me. Not a lot of people would be able to put up with the lifestyle that I have, because he's a really mean coach. I'm not gonna lie. Training camps get really hard. Sometimes I can't stand him, and sometimes I don't even want to look at him. But hey, he makes me great. Every time he tells me something, I do my best to work on it. I'm not naturally gifted, so I have to really work hard and push myself, and he knows exactly how to push me. He knows exactly how to motivate me, and I truly appreciate him. And not only because he's my husband, but I do believe that he's one of the greatest coaches out there. I know it, and it's time for the world to see it.
Definitely so, and I've said it for years. He's one of the most underrated trainer coaches around there, because I've watched him, for years in this gym, what he does with some of these kids. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of kids here. Come on over, Mariah. This is Mariah Martinez. Everybody knows who she is. Now, you just came back from Kansas, right? No, where was it?
She's a national champion, JO national champion from Texas.
National. Now, how old are you?
I'm 12.
12 years old. And how long have you been boxing?
Almost 3 years.
And Andrew's been your coach the whole time?
No.
Pretty much?
Well, we went to Fuentes, and then when we came here, we thought he was the best coach.
Ah, there you go. Now, the first time I'd really seen you fight, I think it was at the Gene Lewis tournament, and even your ring entrance was pretty interesting, because it's like, wow, this is like a little girl, she's got it down. But I actually watched you, and I was impressed with your skill, especially your speed. And what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, as far as boxing, you want to make it a whole career? What do you want to do?
Well, I want to go to the Olympics. My goal is to go to the Olympics and win it.
Nice. Okay. Now, and you also have a sister that boxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's she at? She's over there. Okay. Well, yeah, bring her up too. Let's bring her up here. What's your sister's name?
Alicia Martinez.
What is it?
Alicia Martinez.
Alicia. Okay, Alicia Martinez. This is Mariah's sister, who also boxes. So it's like a whole family affair here. So go ahead and now. How long have you been boxing?
About like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, and you work with Andy also, right? And he's your trainer coach.
Yes.
And then you recently just went where? Did she?
She went to Kansas City.
She went to Kansas. You competed, and you were. What was the deal?
She fought hard. She fought hard. The decision didn't go her way, but she got a lot of experience out of it, and I know that as she goes on, she'll grow.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about like doing tournaments like that or things like that. Sometimes they don't win, even though it's questionable sometimes. I mean, it's to be honest.
The thing is that national tournaments, they're really competitive fights. So I mean,
Right.
It was a really close fight, and I know that she's gonna get in there and work harder.
I mean, you're pretty much fighting the best of the best, so that's kind of cool. But what's your plans for when you get older? Do you want to turn pro also and fight, or what's your goal?
Yeah, I want to turn pro too. And
Excellent.
yeah, I want to be like Sulem because she motivates me because I want to be like her and stuff because she trains hard.
Excellent. Nice. All right, now let's get Andrew. Come on up. So, and by the way, this is the look at the gym here, in case you and nobody that's or not everybody that's been here. Andrew Soto, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. So let's talk about it. Okay, so to me you're like one of the most underrated coaches, trainers. I mean, you're well known. I mean, that's no doubt about it. But man, you're like gone all the time. You're working with who and
Yeah,
what's going
exactly.
on?
Well, right now, as far as pros, I have 4 pros in the gym right now. I have Carlos Castro, Carlos Satarain, Andy Soto, and Sulem Soto, or Sulem Urbina-Soto. And actually, Eliu, he's another flyweight that I have, and him and Sulem are fighting on the same card in Mexico on the 17th. So we'll be gone. The 3 of us will be gone for that.
And before we go any further, now is there a way to see those fights on TV here? How can we do that?
Well, my fights will be televised either on TV Azteca live in Mexico, and if it's on TV Azteca live in Mexico, you can watch my fights here on BN Sports en Español on cable. And if it's not on there, then it'll be on Azteca America. So one of those 2 channels, you can watch them.
Okay, and that's coming up when?
Saturday, December 17th.
And before I forget, how can people follow you on whatever social media?
You can follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Sulem Urbina.
Excellent. All right, now back to you, Andy. Now you just recently came back you were in what, Russia or?
Yeah, I was in Russia.
What was going on over there?
I've been working a lot with AIBA, which is the International Boxing Association for the amateurs, and they got me as an ITO, International Technical Official. So they send me around if I'm not working with them at tournaments, at AIBA tournaments. They send me around to do coaching seminars and cutman seminars, such like that. So they have me going around as kind of a teacher.
And you also had like a really big honor because I happened to be in Virginia when the Olympics were on, and you were kept a really hush hush.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, next thing I see, Andy's down in Rio,
Right.
or whatever. How did that come about? And I mean, it was kind of weird. I happened to be in Bethesda, Maryland that night, and then I thought, Jesus, that's Andy.
Right.
Holy crap! How'd that happen?
Well, I was invited back in February to go with AIBA as a cutman, to work as a cutman. So I couldn't say anything about it because they asked me not to say anything. You know, they didn't want anybody reaching out to any of the ITOs or any of the judge and refs. You know, and so I wasn't able to tell anybody about it. But I was invited since February to go and work at the games.
Excellent. Now, truly, your passion is mostly, I think, with the amateurs, working with the kids. I mean, you do really great things with them, but how do you juggle between the pros and the amateurs, and how do you do that?
Well, I don't see it as really having a passion for one or the other. I really love both. I love the amateur, I love the pro, because the way I see it is if I don't develop the new ones coming up, then there aren't the pros later on down the road. But I mean, I think it's just the love that I have for it. You know, I really enjoy seeing a kid that I have trained since they were little really, try and reach the goals that they set for themselves, from day one. And me, I mean, if I could do everything I can to help them reach that goal, I'm going to do it.
And a perfect example is Carlos Castro, because you had him since he was a little kid, and when he turned pros, you guys split up for a little bit, but then he came back, and you can immediately see, once again, a big difference in him.
I appreciate that.
I mean, really, you can, and that's one thing. I mean, no bullshit. I mean, that's one thing I've always said about Andy is, you can bring out the best in a lot of fighters, and these kids right here are proof of it, because especially, I mean, she is here every day. I mean, literally. I mean, they have school, they have homework, but they give it up.
I look at the little ones and I see how developed they are. Like she's very advanced for her age. She knows stuff that I learned as I was older, because I came to Andrew when I was older. So I see her and I absolutely see her surpassing me, and I'm happy about that. I mean, I want her to accomplish all her dreams. I want her to get all these gold medals in international competition, and seeing somebody go from when they're that young to older and be that hungry and have that connection with Andy, it's something beautiful to witness. It pushes me. She motivates me.
It is, and that's one thing you got to say about the both of you and your whole gym is what you do for boxing, both of you, well, all of you, and it goes a lot of times unnoticed, as with a lot of gyms, and it's kind of unfair, because there's a lot of gyms out there. There's tons of them out there, but this one, of course, has always been one of my favorites. It's a great facility, and I don't know, I just love it. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for your time and allowing me to stop by, and I've been wanting to catch up with you for a long time, and every time, and you're out of the country half the time. And anyways, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to stop in.
Thank you for coming. We enjoyed it.
And doing it. So anyways, here's a quick look around the gym again. Look at this guy too, cornball, man. So anyways, there's a look at the gym right here. Really good facility. It's over here on 16th Street in Grant, right?
Yes,
right down by the airport.
Right.
So if you get a chance, come on down. One of my big dreams, I know we talked about it